the predominating factor in this world isn't a group of families like the Rothschilds or Hamas or whoever, terrorists. I'd say it's evil.
And empires rise and fall over history, don't they?
We're seeing the end of the Western Empire, which
Yeah.
we used to call Christendom. The British Empire died at the end of World War I and World War II.
Usually I find people who get cancelled end up becoming bigger. Has Andrew Tate become smaller?
And I had loads of money and I lived a tiny life and I was really, really happy. When you get richer, you go, let's get a place in London. Get a place in London. Suddenly everything starts being like, well, outgoings are 10 grand a month now.
If I give you a 35-year mortgage,
But also-
it's a great way I can control
Also,
you. Something I've been fascinated to try and discover is who controls the world.
Why do you assume someone controls the world?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it may not be one person. It may be some families, maybe some corporations.
Could it be an energy? Could it be a thing?
It could be.
Could it be an emotion?
Is it lizards? Is it?
But, I mean,
Is it Illuminati? The reason I want to know is because they're controlling rules and regulations, and therefore they are putting impositions on us, and we're supposed to be democratic. Where we're able to choose who we want, and we don't have a democracy anymore.
No.
So surely we need to expose who's created this globalist or monopolistic rule of our planet.
Well, I went past the school playground the other day and I was going through that exact question. Who controls all this? Why is it all so shit? And I looked at the school playground and there was this kid beating up another kid. And then the teacher comes and takes the child away, the beating up child. And I was like, that kid runs that playground.
Yeah.
So what happens when you apply like intelligence, development, neurofrontal cortex, all that sort of stuff? You essentially just have the playground in macrocosm. So it's just bullies and bastards that want to control other people. That's what my mum always used to say. It's just power and control. And then I think if you put the spiritual element into it, let's call it evil rather than the devil. Evil wants you to serve it. It wants you to do it. It's why it's like all the things that are really bad for you are really good and you really enjoy them. If you could just do one crack pipe once in your life, you'd have a great time. You wouldn't be a drug addict. If you could go to a casino once and gamble all of your money, you wouldn't be a gambling addict. It's how you interact with evil is, I think, what it is. So I'd say the predominating factor in this world isn't a group of families like the Rothschilds or Hamas or whoever, terrorists. I'd say it's evil. It's evil loves people and people love evil.
What would you say, Calvin?
He's right.
Yeah.
There are influences. There are the Rothschilds. There are the Soroses. There are the Gateses. And they do have a lot of influence in our world. But essentially, it's about a battle between good and evil, between Satan and God and his heavenly kingdom. And I think in this realm, Satan seems to be winning a lot of battles. But we know as Christians that God wins in the end. So actually, we get a bit of hope from that.
Where do you think we are in humanity, Calvin?
What do you mean?
Well, how do you think we're doing as a humanity? In this battle between good and evil, how would you rank us? How are we doing? Seems like we're doing a lot worse than we were 20 or 30 years ago. Or am I just more aware of what was already there?
What I say to that is I don't think we as people are doing worse. I think Western civilization is doing worse.
Right.
And our personal perspective is from the West. So
Yeah.
we see Great Britain and America and most of Europe tunneling down this dark tunnel towards hell. And we think, okay, the world is imploding. The world isn't imploding. There are many good civilizations around the world that are thriving, actually. And what we're seeing is this.
And empires rise and fall over history, don't they?
We're seeing the end of the Western Empire, which we used to call Christendom. The British Empire died at the end of the World War I and World War II. We had no aristocracy left. We had no men left. We had our way of life was the boat had been rocked and Christianity had been stripped out. And so America took over as the great empire of the West. But that was based on a different set of values, mostly monetary values, mostly on classical liberalism and on capitalism. And they're not solid foundations. So America is.
So you don't think capitalism is a solid foundation?
Well, no, because we're in a lag right now. America as an empire has already fallen, but we're in this lag playing catch up as the East takes over.
Right.
And some people can see that. But it's how do we respond to that is the issue.
So you don't want to stay here and fight?
We've been fighting.
Yeah.
There is no fight in London. There's no democratic means to take back our country.
No, there isn't. You just can't.
Right. So what do? You have to fall. You have to retreat until there is a fight to join. We've been trying to lead the fight, but there's no people joining the fight. So what do you do?
Why aren't people joining the fight?
Because because no one wants to get cancelled.
Yes.
No one wants to have their whole life taken away.
This is the paradox. I go and rant every day. And I try and build up some energy for people to speak their mind. And everyone's just like, oh, you'll be next, Rob. You'll be next. And they've been indoctrinated. Here's the thing I just want to say. Like, usually I find people who get cancelled end up becoming bigger. Like, has Andrew Tate become smaller? I mean, he's
Right.
Have you seen Star Wars? Obi-Wan Kenobi, strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can possibly. So it actually doesn't work.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, people just become more powerful. But yet everyone's scared to go through the process.
Because we're scared of suffering. We're scared of persecution.
Yes.
And I understand why.
Yes.
I understand why people are, because it's really horrible.
Yes.
Like I can't tell you.
And so then you would say that's where faith comes
relatively,
in.
it's not horrible. Relatively, it's not at all. This is the thing that gets me, because we're fighting for truth, and some of us are fighting for faith. And those 2,000 years ago, people who fought for their faith were martyred. They died. Like all of Christ's apostles were killed, all but one were killed for their faith. And literally, all that happens to us is you lose a nice paying job, I lose my TV program. Like it's nothing.
No,
It's really not.
this is true. So we've lost the context of reality, really.
We've also, can you imagine? I get upset.
I just want to honour that point. It's a very good point.
It is a brilliant point.
We aggrandize our problems, and so then we fear things that we shouldn't really be scared of because the consequences aren't really that bad.
I get upset if my Ocado driver is like, I can't be there between 2 and 3. I'm like, I needed to go out at 3 to meet a friend. And it's like someone is delivering your food to your house and you're first world probleming it.
Yeah.
We are weak and
Yes.
that's
and how do we become more strong?
well it's a process, isn't it, as the old saying goes.
But
so
I don't think you can join the fight until you've been cancelled. If you look at everyone who's fighting the good fight, they've all gone through it.
Yeah.
And they all say, oh, you guys need to join us too, because I've now seen that it's this, but they can't. People can't see it until they've been through it.
Yeah. It is an awakening. You do realise that I feel when I'm sad, I'm really sad, and I feel like it's hopeless and there's nothing that I can do about it. But when I'm in my neutral state, which most people live in all the time, I feel really blessed. I'm like, I don't even engage in your society. Like, I'm not even part of the way that you live. Like, your concerns and worries are not mine, because I'm dealing with them when I'm down, and when I'm up, which is, rarely, I'm just good and I'm really, really happy, and I'm happy for sincere and genuine reasons. But my middle, my freedom existence, if you will, for want of a better term, is so much more fulfilling than, oh God, I just don't want to say anything. I just got to get through the day. I've got to get home. I need gin and tonic, and I'll speak to the wife and the kids, and I'll do that. Which is 90% of the people I know.
And then the narrative that's pushed is that you have to be successful in this world, and to be successful is to have money, which is similar to, aligned to your argument, but different, because once that's your objective, you won't say the truth. You won't say things because you'll protect your image in order to protect your promotion, or protect your next job. If your objective is the truth, then you will always be persecuted. You will always lose your jobs. You will always lose out on promotions, but you will be fulfilled because you'll be living in the truth. And that's far more important than what the world tells you is success.
So this is a very powerful point. Because I wanted to ask you, Lawrence, does the truth really set you free? Because the truth's cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, I did.
And you've had a lot of pain in your life for what you perceive as the truth. So does the truth set you free?
Yeah, because the truth is the truth. Sorry to go back to the 6
No,
and the 9
I'm
point.
listening. I'm not.
But
I've moved on from that one. I'm like in the space Calvin's right now.
The truth, you can't avoid it. So all your efforts to avoid it.
Yeah, because if you don't speak it out, you feel the conflict within, don't you?
You can't know the truth unless you start trying to speak it. And then also...
But then people are scared of the reaction, so they hold it in.
What comes next? I believe I will go to heaven because I'm living in Christ. I'm living in his truth. If I held back that truth and lied and skirted around the fact, said, yeah, of course you're a woman. Of course you can change sex. Of course this and that and the other. I don't think I would. If I lived in the lies that society wants me to live in order to reach their level of success, I don't think I would go to heaven.
Or be controlled by them.
Right.
Control is a funny one, actually, as an idea.
Well, money is one of the greatest ways to control.
I wake up...
If I give you just enough to live and make you believe that you should be happy with that, that's a great way I can control you. If I give you a 35-year mortgage,
but also,
it's a great way I can control you.
By pretending that you can get more.
Yeah, because when you get more, you give more of it away to the government. You know,
Well,
people
also-
don't know. Sorry to take it financially, but people. I need to say this.
Even before you give it, go on. Sorry.
People don't understand how much they pay in tax.
Oh, yeah.
And it is 70% of what you earn and what you spend. If you're a relatively high rate taxpayer, and it's more than 50, even if you're not, because there's 5 types of tax when you own a car, and when you put fuel in, there's 3 types of tax. So if people actually sit and think, okay, so 70% of what I earn, because really you should have tax on what you earn or what you spend. Like Dubai's got it right.
We get double.
Yeah, we get taxed twice. We get taxed to earn it, and we've got not much left, and then we get taxed to buy it, and we've got even less left. So, 70%. Think of it like this: you are working 70% of your working life for the government, and 30% of your working life for you.
But
That is an outrage.
Even before that, it's the illusion that you can always get more, you can always get better, and actually,
Because it benefits them.
relatively speaking, all of us in the West are the richest we've ever been. The poorest in our society today are richer than everyone else that came before us in this society. If we live more modestly, we can live very fulfilled and happy and contented lives. You know, when a few of my colleagues who also got sacked from GB News struggled when they got sacked because they lived to such high ends and they couldn't survive at that. I tried to live relatively modestly, so my life didn't change that much when I lost my job, and I found other ways to accommodate for that. It's like we don't have to do the things that we're doing all the time. We can make compromises, but we don't want to.
That's what actors do as well.
Yeah, because that's consumerism to sell us that we need this
you need
brand.
That, you need that. I don't need this £1,000 phone. I don't need it.
No.
It was my favourite thing about actors, which was like you meet, and it's in movies as well, they do it a lot, is that what an actor will do is when they switch up from, so I think they say something like 95% of actors don't make a decent living out of acting. 60% of actors make above, so 40% of actors make above the average national wage. So you're talking about very few percentage of people that are actually doing well out of acting.
Probably the same with football. Probably most of them are in the minor leagues, not earning a lot of money.
I think the same in most things. But what's so hilarious is what actors do, and I'm sure footballers do it as well, and other people do it, is unless you're Matt Le Tissier, who just sticks to Southampton and, you know, now has to earn a living because he didn't take the 50 grand a week for Blackburn Rovers, is that they just expand their life. And you just increase your square footage. And I've never been, so when I first got married to Billy, I said to her, I want to have lots of money and a tiny life. So I want to live in and I remember exactly what I paid out every month. It was about 1,250 quid of my side of it. And I was earning 10 grand a week, more than. And I had loads of money and I lived a tiny life and I was really, really happy. And it was great. And then when you get richer, you go, let's get a place in London. You get a place in London. Suddenly everything starts being like, well, outgoings are 10 grand a month now. And then, so this is why actors particularly won't speak out about how terrible show business has become, because they're like dependent on that 25.
Well, that's the trap.
Yeah.
I know someone in business who says you want to make sure your sales guys all spend their money so they come hungry at the start of every month.
Right.
And, you know, from a drive point of view, I understand that, but that's with the system. It benefits them to keep us in need.
So what would you other than...
I mean, there's fundamental rules here. Never spend more than you earn. Pay yourself first. If you observe these rules for the next 10 to 20 years, you can become a millionaire and live on... A lot of millionaires are not really living an extravagant life. They just never spend more than they earn, which means you have to avoid consumerism and all. Oh, you need the £1,000 phone. No, you don't. You can get £200 one, which does the same thing, and pay yourself first, which means start your own business and run as many of your affairs through a legitimate business expense as you can. So you're paying yourself first and you're paying tax last, or at least you're paying into your investment pot before you pay all your direct debits. You don't need £120 a month for Sky TV.
But there's quite a lot of sort of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some biblical corollary with that, isn't there? Which is to go, you know, don't be an arsehole. Don't spunk what you don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think
that's the virtue of poverty.
Yeah. Well, we used
Living
to
within your means.
Yeah, well,
this country made
but
people
that's
poor.
not poverty.
Well, what is it?
It's smart financial management.
Like not having too much, because we don't need.
Yeah, that's
too
not
much.
poverty.
What's poverty?
Well, by my definition, poverty would be not having enough to live.
Yeah.
Not having enough to feed, clothe, etc.
Right.
So you're not poor if you are smart with money. Because 20 or 30 years ago, what did our parents say? Never buy it unless you can afford it, and save up and earn it. So what you would do is you'd delay all the gratification to the end, you'd work towards it, and then you'd buy it and you'd get a sense of, I earned this. And now this angers me, but I took my children to a sports shop and there's a pair of trainers and my son brings it to me, and inside it, buy now, pay later. In a kids trainer, and it's APR 30%.
Credit is evil.
It is.
Is it? Hang on a minute. You can't say credit is evil unless you absolutely. Then I'm with the
context.
I'm with the Muslims on the credit thing.
Context.
What do you mean?
Well, the Muslims don't do credit, do they?
Well, I just said that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they've got a much better. Like, if we can take if we are genuinely want to be multicultural.
If I lend to someone to start a business and they build a thriving, flourishing business that does good in the world, and I lend them money and I teach them financial management by paying some interest and not getting it for free, there's no sin in that. However,
he's talking about sin. I love it. He's on.
Yes, but it always comes.
Don't mock the fact that you've hooked me into faith when you were selling me faith earlier.
I'm not. I'm just having.
Yeah, but you just fished me in like a fish.
I'm just having. I'm just having.
Is this how you see it when you're on your mission?
No.
Let's fish them in.
It's not a mission. The point is always
winding you up.
But doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I've been on a mission for 17 years to help as many people on this planet get better financial knowledge. If, like me, you'd like to make, manage and multiply more money, I recommend that you join my digital financial freedom platform. It's really easy to join. You just type in rob.team. There you're going to learn my 4 M's of making, managing, maintaining and multiplying more money. And the even better news is there's no risk to you because it costs less than 20 pence a day to join. You can cancel anytime. Join right now. I'll also give you my 12-week Money Mastermind University completely for free. It exposes the banking system and teaches you how to play them at their own game. If you join rob.team right now, you get that completely for free. Just type in rob.team. We'll see you inside with the 10,000 other members in rob.team.